Okay, thank you, Nick. Well, we're going to continue the weather conversation with Mike Doherty. He's the Director of Communications for the Minnesota Department of Transportation. So I always thought that it's the snow and the salt and the stuff that's really hard on the roads, but it could be this warmer weather too is causing some issues, maybe?
Yeah, as Nick's talking about, we get this freeze thaw. It's during the day, it's beautiful, it's warm, it's above freezing. Things go back below freezing at night, and that's that moisture. Our engineers always talk about the danger of our roads is really moisture because it can seep down and then freeze up, expand, and then go back. And so this fluctuating temperature is more what we see, springtime. And here we are in February. So we monitor the frost levels because that's down in the ground. That kind of maintains the stability of the road. It's frozen. It allows heavier trucks to go on there. We just lifted the overweight permits just this month, the start of February, which is pretty early for what they do. And then people often hear these spring weight load restrictions that we see, and that's where the frost starts to come out of the ground. The roadbed becomes a little less stable because there's that moisture, it's melting in there. We don't want heavy loads on there because it can damage the roads. And yet, here we are in February, and they're discussing when to put that on because we're also restricted to 8 weeks we can have the load restrictions on. So you don't want to start too soon because you might end up still doing that. So yeah, we monitor it a lot, and it's kind of, it seems like
Yikes.
Uncharted territory.
Well, it kind of is for all of us. It's a strange year. So you said when the road expands and contracts, what problems would we see as people using the road?
In the end, potholes.
Oh, yay.
Yes, everybody's favorite. But we typically,
right
we see those, probably in the March, April, when we've got a lot of moisture and it's happening, because it creates that fissure, that damage underground. Then you get the pressure of the heavy vehicles on top pushing down, and it creates those potholes and openings. And yet we don't know. If you look out now, we don't have much moisture right now. So it's kind of this strange area. If we get some moisture and then we continue to see this freeze thaw, we may see more potholes. If it stays dry, and we hope not because farmers need the moisture as well, that may be a less severe pothole season. So we're kind of in that wait and see sort of thing right now.
So I have a question, and everyone might know the answer to this, and so it might be a dumb question, which I'm going to get to in a second, but first we have a graphic. What are we looking at here?
This is where, if you're curious about where the frost levels are in the ground, MnDOT has online frost gauges. So these are all the locations. There are two in our area, one near Rochester in Olmsted County, and then there's one up in Soane in Goodhue County. That'll give you a good sense. I looked at them before I came over today. We're about at 3 feet, the frost level's down. Typically, it's closer to 6 feet,
Wow.
5 or 6 feet. So it is less, but it's still 3 feet down in the ground. And that's helpful for people if they're digging, doing that sort of thing. But we kind of watch that and see when the trend starts moving up.
So I have to wrap, but the question I wanted to ask you is, this weather is easier on concrete or asphalt? Or is it kind of a toss-up?
It's probably easier on the concrete, I'd say, as long as it's not too cracked. Okay. So I think that blacktop has more cracks, so that's where you see more of the potholes.
The potholes.
Yes.
Mike Doherty from MnDOT, thank you so much.